Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Game 1.
There are few esports rivalries that stand the test of time than Evil Geniuses versus Team Liquid. In Dota, EG, winners of the 5th iteration of the International, led by their captain Misery, who placed second at TI6 against Team Liquid. The reigning TI champs and the #1 team in the world right now, Blitz. We could not ask for a better semifinal.
Especially to represent themselves against Newbie. Both teams having history against that. Liquid obviously would like to continue that supremacy over Newbie. And for EG, Misery, you know they love to get him that second consecutive title here at ESL Genting.
You know, I really view ESL and Genting as sort of like the midterm. You know, like this is sort of the halfway point as we lead into TI. We have a rush of tournaments ahead of us after this one, but this, I feel, will set the tone leading into TI.
You think so? I mean, DC won this one, and some unfortunate moments.
We all had high hopes for you guys.
Thanks. But I think that these rosters especially are such historic teams when it comes to just not even Dota, but just esports in general. This rivalry dates all the way back to StarCraft, where I mean, they were almost always just the two best Western teams. Mm-hmm. And now we let this conclude in Dota.
And now we've got some iconic heroes for both sides as well. I would say the obvious standout would be the GH Wisp.
Yep.
On the other side, Misery playing the Chen. He's definitely shown a lot of strength on this hero so far, and I do feel like it is one of the strongest supports of this patch right now. So I don't know, the panel seemed to be pretty heavily in the favor of EG. Kyle even so far as to say 70-30 to their favor. Do you agree with that assessment of the draft?
I think it's a little bit closer than you think, just because Storm, it's not easy to play into these heals. And if you took a screenshot of this, like going into the past year and showed that Arteezy was actually the one playing Storm on Evil Geniuses and Sumail was in the game, people would be really confused.
As a Storm Spirit expert, how did you rate Arteezy's performance on Storm Spirit compared to Sumail's past performances?
I think it's a little bit different. They're both equally aggressive, but Arteezy really likes to farm.
Okay.
But I think he's kind of changed his playstyle.
Oh, it's a trap set up by Team Liquid, attempting to get the first blood here. Fortunately, Crit not stumble into that trap, and Team Liquid will set themselves up on the boundary runs.
But there's still influence from that DC squad, as Weehaw was actually the one that told Arteezy about this build on Storm Spirit. He said, this is a really good build. You can play very aggressively on this. And it allows them to scale not as hard on Storm Spirit, but at the same time, the early fights seem very pivotal for EG. They need this kind of core to create space, and I think that's going to be Arteezy this game.
So you think that's really going to be the determining factor here for this matchup in EG Liquid, is whether or not those early to mid-game team fights go well for EG?
Yeah, I think Arteezy has to do quite a bit right now, because for Liquid, I mean, if you have a Pugna core, you know exactly what you want to do. You want to try to overrun your overrun your opponents, take down these towers early on, pressure. Still a very good hero, though, against the Terrorblade, just because you insta-kill the illusions once you have Ags.
Yeah, I can't imagine this is going to be a game where we're going to be seeing a whole lot of the classic Team Liquid split push, mostly out of maybe the Wisp and the Tiny. But other than that, this seems like a pretty aggressive teamfight-focused lineup that looks to run over EG rather than play the longer game.
Yeah, I really like what Liquid have done, though. They've given themselves very advantageous lanes, with the exception of this mid lane. But we've seen time and time again the Matama Man going to get sacked for the success of his other cores, as Sumail. In this 1-on-2, this Tiny's going to do very nicely down here. And at the same time, up at top, Miracle going to have a free time against his Terrorblade.
A little bit surprised. Crit's actually coming over to this bottom lane. I'm not sure how much he's going to be help out Sumail's Omni Knight against this Wisp Tiny. Looks like he's just going to go for the pull. That'll be definitely a safer option. Fear is going to have a hard time up against a Timber Saw. Obviously, melee versus melee, it's never fun playing against a Timber, but being an agility hero and having some pretty high base damage, it looks like he's going to do all right in CS to start.
Even more importantly than that, like, he's got very good move speed, so it's going to be hard for him to die. And I think Crit's making the right decision, just because it's a Timber. You're not going to contest this hero, so you might as well pull and get levels. And instead, it's going to be Crit that comes in with the, or Misery with the early harass on the Chen as Miracle. beating back a retreat, but just fine with all 5 stacks of reactive armor up. And meanwhile, up at bottom, Crit, gonna get gone on here. Stun flies out. Mind control though, no follow-up.
Yeah, they don't have the toss. Only level 2 on mind control so far. So just a bit of harassment, collecting the creep wave as well. The bigger camp was blocked by EG. They wanted to prevent the Wisp from being able to take advantage of that, so it's not like they had to pull through anyway to work with. Kuro's just hanging out in top lane. Looks like he's going to try and match the Chen's movements as much as possible. Tries to contest the Arcane Rune, decides not to go for the attempt to deny. Instead, Arteezy can fill up his bottle. Oh, that is a tornado that's doing a good amount of damage. Certainly not enough to kill Miracle, but it will threaten his life. Force him to use a healing salve quite soon, I'm sure.
For a second there, it looked like he was going to run back into it, but Wild Wing Ripper. Tongue Twister there as... Taking a look at mid lane, looks like Storm is doing very well with the lead that he was given early on. And if you're Storm Spirit, being able to trade even, much less being ahead, quite nice for you.
Do you think Misery needs to worry about roaming too much on this Chen, or should he just focus on farming up a little bit more?
I think he should help top whenever he can with whatever creeps he gets, especially with the purple dude, but...
How much can he really help, though? Because it's a Timber Saw, you're going to have that reactive armor.
He's going to help this much as he goes up here. The nuke does so much damage, the reflection flies out too. Miracle doesn't have the Timber Chain.
That's a good amount, but they do have the Witch Doctor here. He's going to be able to get the Paralyzing Cask. Unfortunately, bounce it over to the Creep Wave, but all in all, both teams will be fine. Just a bit of harassment onto Miracle.
Right now, both supports, not a whole lot for them to do here on both sides. As at bottom, of course, GH going to be attached at the hip to this Tiny, but Kuro doesn't feel like he can kill top.
Oh, they managed to snag GH here, but a great avalanche from Mind Control actually hits both of them. Smail continues to get some more harassment onto GH, actually missing out on that purification. They're going to try for a toss back into GH, dropping lower and lower, 3 more seconds, but he does have a huge magic stick, so Samael should be okay here. He's actually going to try and... Oh, no, his healing salve get canceled. There goes the purification, tossed up in the air, and he's getting quite low now. Crit needs to be able to save Samael. Mind Control still going for it. It's just going to keep beating on. Shadow Shaman, he's going to get the toss up in the air with the Wiz coming in soon. Tether in 2 seconds, but a purification goes off. Crit will survive.
And mid, Matema Man harassing back the Storm Spirit, who should just jungle at this point. Get your level 6, go back to base. He's got fully completed treads already.
Oh, Smail so low, but the purification keeps him alive. The balls, though, GH is going to end up dying. No, he gets a heal off barely, but Crit gets him in the end. First blood goes to Crit first before Samael ends up dying to GH's Wisp.
And they're going to be very happy about that as up at top, the creeps come in now, Miracle.
Yeah, they've got the double Satyrs with the Penitent. Still not enough to really go for the kill, though. Miracle standing his ground against Misery's Satyrs.
And not afraid at all, but Metamorphosis was popped, and he's got to be careful. This is a lot of nuke damage that can fly on both of these Penitents.
1, 2,
again.
Hell, look at that. Miracle. Gonna be running shy on regen here. He's only got his magic wand.
Definitely just shrine up right now.
Yeah, they're heading to it.
As once again, Sumail at bottom lane, feels very comfortable. Has died early on, but still getting levels is the important thing as an Omni Knight.
So the Chen did stack up for Arteezy. As a result, he clears through that, activates the shrine, is now level 6. Don't think he really needs to worry about affecting the side lanes too much, right? EG's got to be okay with the way the lanes are going.
Yeah. And at bottom, Sumail gonna get gone on. Instantly pops the heal. Doesn't have the repel quite yet. Reads the situation.
Just trying to get that soul ring, Matumba Man. Good amount of damage on Arteezy.
Yeah, he wanted to pop the clarity so that you can't just jungle. Like, especially in this patch, it's very abusive. As Storm Spirit, you just constantly fair yourself clarities, and you just immediately jungle. Yeah. There's not a whole lot that the enemy mid can do about that.
Especially on the Radiant side, right? Because you are so close to that one creep wave.
Yeah, if you notice, like, he brought himself another clarity, and he should just pop it in jungle. This is probably the most common place here.
Barely snacks the Arcane Rune ahead of Crit. It's a great pickup for Pugna, that's for sure. But he's not getting the opportunity to really pressure that mid tower like most Pugnas like to be able to do.
Yeah, that's the benefit of having Storm. He can always just shove out the wave. It's hard to get on top of that. And these moments, though, where you go for the jungle is where the Pugna is going to start making some headway. And with an Arcane Rune, I think he wants to try to get aggressive on this. Going to be a good timing too, as Arteezy's got to go back to base before he does anything.
Crit wrapping around here. Looks like they thought about going for GH, couldn't get close enough. It's been a relatively slow build-up for this very hype matchup. Blitz, when do you anticipate things to really start picking up pace? Who's going to make the first maneuver and leave the laning phase? I mean, it's 7 minutes in and no one's really rotated at all.
I'd imagine it'd be Liquid, and once Matama Man takes this mid tower, which he does, we talked about how that's the benefit of when you're playing against these kinds of jungling mids. You can't just force them out.
That's going to open up the jungle quite a bit. You can see Matumba Man already making a rotation through. Looks like he's going to head to bottom lane here, see if they can take that safe lane tower as well. Runs into crit. Does get a good amount of damage. Disable goes down though. He stops the lapse, but he's still going to take a good amount of damage. Matumba Man just needs vision right now. Tries to juke it out. Not going to make it. Sumail, low on mana, is now also in trouble here as he starts booking it to the side shop.
He doesn't have repel either, but Mind Control stops the retreat. Sumail a little bit too far, instantly pops his magic wand, wants to make sure if he gets stun control, doesn't have to wait that out. And it is Liquid that makes the first move. With Matama Man taking that mid tower, he's immediately going to rotate down here. This should be a free tier 1. I think EG, though, should just go for smoke right now.
Yep, it's exactly what they're going to do. With their Chen and Shadow Shaman, they're going to try and threaten the only hero that they can really go for right now. They're showing 4 bottom, so they're going to go for the Solo Miracle top lane. He's only level 6, so doesn't have that maxed out armor just yet. But it's still going to be a tough kill.
Yeah, they got wards down. They want to get wards down too, though. And they're going to start going on him right now as Miracle.
There goes the Chakram, and oh, crit, not able to get that disable right away, and he's actually getting into the trees. This is trouble, because this gives an opportunity for Liquid to be able to TP in with their supports, especially with GH. They can't go for that Timber Saw now, and it looks like EG, they are just on the losing side of all of these trades. They've lost their mid tower, their safe lane tower, have gained nothing in return, and Miracle is still sitting pretty safe in his lane and is keeping his farm up.
Yeah, he's going to be pretty happy about this. If you don't get the initial burst on a hero like Timber, very hard to take down, and nice jukes from him in the trees as GH is now waiting up here, anticipating the moves. Almost level 6 himself. As at bottom, Mind Control just continues to chuck trees at Sumail. Doesn't care too much. And now here comes the full rotation as Matama Man's up here now too. Doesn't want to get scouted out though. Isn't certain if there's a ward here.
And it's still important for those ganks to be successful, right? Because it's not like we have supports that rotate back very easily. We've got a Chen, who's probably one of the slower heroes to be able to rotate around the map, and a Shadow Shaman, almost equally slow.
Yeah. And right now, if you just look at the vision game, they don't really see too much of this top lane. I mean, they confirm all the heroes on the map, but this mid lane, Misery made a very good rotation with the siege creep. Here comes Mind Control though.
Missed avalanche. Toss back to Misery here. Mind Control is going to be in some trouble. They have the Witch Doctor TPing in, so they're going to give up on the attempt here, especially with GH making his way across. Paralyzing cast doing a good amount of work. Looks like they should be able to pick up that extra neutral creep.
They really want to try to defend this tower as long as possible, and at the same time take top tower. And this is the kind of pressure that Liquid puts on that maybe the other teams in the tournament haven't quite done to EG. We haven't really seen EG pressured from the laning phase on. It's always been EG that's had a very successful laning phase going into the mid game.
Yeah, usually the worst thing that happens is that Fear has to deal with a rough lane, but otherwise they usually keep their towers for the most part. Their other 2 cores usually farming really well. Usually Sumail has a great matchup. Here, Liquid are favored in almost every single one of the matchups. It's just the Storm Spirit who stands a bit taller than the rest right now at 5,300 net worth.
Yeah, at the same time, a lot of that net worth lead does go into towers. When it comes to farm, everyone on Liquid does match up decently, but at the same time, EG not far behind at all. Very neutral game so far as Miracle.
Initiation on a Miracle. This time they do snatch him up, but Matama Man is here, and he can also provide the heal if necessary. Instead, they're going to go for the Shadow Shaman. Easy pickup, Evil Geniuses. they just seem to be a little bit stymied here. They don't really know where else to go, so they keep on trying to go for this Timbersaw kill, and it's not working out. They're going to go for bottom lane now. Jump in from RTZ with a repel on top of him. Not much mind control can do. At the same time, Chen ends up going down back to bottom lane. Sumail takes a good chunk of damage. All that burst magic damage is going to be enough. Gets a core kill. Remember, they win for that Wisp, and they traded Sumail's Omni Knight. Again, another trade-off that just looks poor for EG.
Yeah, and at the same time, Miracle. I mean, going for this Timbersaw, who's got 20 stacks on him at all times, just seems so unfeasible. As Fear going to give him the right clicks, but Miracle stopping in place, understands you do nothing to me right now. And EG going to make their way up. They really want to punish this Timbersaw.
I don't know how they're going to do it, though. Because previously, they could at least say, okay, if we can kind of burst him down, it's going to take a certain amount of time for the Wisp to be able to TP in. But now they've got Relocate to worry about. So if they go on a Timbersaw, there could conceivably be a Relocate gank coming in from the Wisp Tiny. And if they've blown everything on a Timbersaw, I can't imagine that going well for EG.
Yeah, and right now it's quite scary as Mind Control has finished up his Blink Dagger. He's going to give the last hit to Matama Man as another tower gets claimed for Team Liquid. At top lane, though, Ward's going to spot RTZ. He's pinging like mad. He really wants something out of this.
Look at Miracle. He's just standing
once
there.
again.
He's already got the reactive armor stack, so it's going to be a tough kill. And he's got the paralyzed
There's the
cast.
death ward.
Miracle dropping lower and lower. Gets
It's so much damage.
Takes the Timbersaw. Miracle jumping away. RTZ
so
desperately
low.
trying to finish him off, but the magic dam's not enough. GH keeps him alive.
He's
and
out of mana.
RTZ is completely out of mana. He's shot and he's down. Miracle. He baits Evil Geniuses and still manages to stay alive.
That was unbelievable. Kuro at the same time at that top just held that ground. Death Ward goes on for what feels like forever, and we just talked about how that Timbersaw was going to be so hard to bring down, and the Relocate play was there. It cost them nothing to do it. They had already taken that bottom tier 2 tower, so it didn't even slow their momentum. And Io not even going to get punished for that.
Burst damage, man. Terrorblade. He still had the Sunder, but burst from the Timbersaw was just too much for him.
And now that the Tiny has a Blink Dagger, he's constantly going to be on high alert.
He can one-shot so many of these heroes.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Especially if he has the helping hands of the Wisp. Give him the extra bit of nuke damage with the spirits.
And up at top, Arteezy zips in.
And he's gonna pull back, but there is Mataba Man here, and he's gonna help out Miracle now. Pops out, kind of baits it. Now, Sumail is the one in trouble. He has to repel himself up. The repel's not gonna last long, though. And Miracle's still gonna go for the kill. Gets a good amount of damage. They need a little bit more. Tries to get the heal up, but surprise, the wand is still there. The Nether Ward takes him down, and now another tower may be dropping. Mid lane. Trying to go on mind control here. Managed to get the shackles up. The toss is there, though. Here comes GH. Get the heal, and mind control turns on Chris. Gets a good amount of damage to get the cleave of the spirits. They manage to take down Shadow.
MC's got Blink.
Now a toss over to RTZ. They take him as well. Liquid are just non-stop destroying Evil Geniuses.
And every single one of EG's moves right now completely stymied as Miracle. They can't do anything about him at the top. He's just challenging them to go on him. And GH waited for so long for somebody to go on mind control. They just don't have the burst potential right now. And that's what we were talking about in Storm Spirit games. Yes, there's not a lot of stunts to go against him, but the Storm's going to overcommit with his mana. The heal's going to be there every time. And once you lose that burst potential from his initial expenditure in mana, he becomes so much weaker. And they just don't have the damage quite yet. They immediately ping for the high ground at 15 minutes in. EG has not felt this kind of pressure all throughout the tournament. Liquid.
Have they found the crack in Evil Genius's armor here? Have they found the way to be able to dismantle this tri-core strat that they've been running almost all tournament long? They've already brought the tower down so low. They are going to be able to get the repel, but GH is going to be able to help out Muntamba Man. So again, Storm Spirit, just as you were talking about, he can't get anywhere close to bursting someone down, not even some of the squishier heroes in the back line, because there's always going to be a Wisp and a Witch Doctor that can provide the heals necessary. Flying Timbersaw, another jump forward by RTZ with the send back from the Chen. They're just trying to get little bits of damage in. so they can finally make a full-on commitment. Another TP back play from the Storm Spirit. Now they're low enough, maybe they can play for this one. Sumail trying to challenge, but gets stunned up. Death Ward gets the toss up, managed to get the chains done enough to be able to bring him down. No heals come out. Arteezy trying to go for GH still. He's the one target that can be low enough, and he managed to force a relocate.
For the moment, they hold that as Fear, Sunder's out, but for the most part, everyone on Liquid relatively healthy. GH gonna come back with a full bottle. Liquid, so much heals on their side with the Witch Doctor at the same time, and here they come.
Another stun, crit, he's already down. Arteezy has to jump away. He's far too low, and that means they're gonna give up that melee Rex. Oh, crit. A little bit more.
Here, doesn't have Sunder.
Too much. Oh no, he didn't have the Sunder. The burst damage is just overwhelming. Evil Geniuses, they can't possibly stop this. He may be able to get one kill. Kuro, he still managed to get the paralyzing cast, bounce over to Sumail, and managed to get the combo stun with the avalanche. But finally, Liquid will call the retreat with a buyback coming out from the Chen and a full lane of racks taken by 17
Mind control, he's in this up.
All right, Mind Control's gonna go for it here. They managed to get off the ultimate from Sumail, but it's still something forced out of Evil Geniuses. A Guardian Angel down, 15-3, 13,000 gold lead. One whole lane of racks already gone. We haven't even reached the 20-minute marker.
And Liquid right now showing there are levels to this game. As EG, 13k whole, 17 minutes into the game. This kind of pressure. I mean, Liquid are setting a blistering pace. They have such tanky cores right now, and EG, they're just frustrated. How many times has Arteezy just full rolled in? It deals no damage. Everyone's healed to full at all times. Mind control setting up for this up at bottom.
Can he one-shot him?
There's the hit.
Arteezy does manage to get off the wand. That's definitely going to be needed here, as you can see how low he drops. Now he's going to try and kite around Mind Control, but GH is here. Careful of his spirits. They do have the purification.
Oh, he's committing hard for this.
HP, but they manage to get the toss around. Repel goes down. They're going to be able to control Mind Control up. Sumail is desperately trying to focus on GH to make sure there's no extra assistance from him, and does manage to kill him before the TP out.
Very nice as Arteezy commits for that. He understands, I've got to do something. You can't allow Liquid to just march down one of your lanes again. It's something we haven't talked about. And a player who's often overlooked on the side of Liquid, Matama Man, top of the net worth chart by quite a margin, already has the fully completed Aghanim Scepter.
And if he gets the BKB, I don't know what EG can do to stop him. It's not even like they have the hardest of initiation. They mostly just have Storm Spirit rolling in. They don't have a whole lot of disables to follow that one up. It's going to be tough for Crit to be able to get in position to follow up that initiation from the Storm.
Easy, now going to start shoving out the side waves. He really needs this Orchid to be able to contest whoever comes to defend this. But that's why you have a Wisp at all times. If anybody gets gone on, GH already has a fully completed mech at just 19 minutes into the game. It's going to be quite difficult for anyone to go down on the side of Liquid, as now they're going to start their march again.
Going to try to make his way into the trees, but a Spirit Ball pings him. They know where Crit is. They're going to be able to get that pick off.
Another Bloodstone charge for Miracle, as EG, they've got to do something now. They can't allow Liquid to just get on top of their tower once again. Arteezy, he's got to put pressure up on this top lane, or somebody's got to start cutting that bottom wave up. But Fear, he's been spotted. Here comes Mind Control and GH.
Relocate gank. They're going to look for the toss from Kuro. Oh, they actually thought Fear had tucked his way into the trees and gone for a TP out. But he just rushes through mid with the extra drums movement speed, gets away. So relocate blown, but Team Liquid still have a game plan of going for this bottom lane of racks.
And Storm Spirit does finish the Orchid now. But how useful is that going to be as Liquid, 20 stacks on this Timber Saw. He's just beating away this tower slowly.
Between the Bloodstone as well as the Hum, they're going to be able to jump on Matama Man. That's a big kill if they can get it. He's silenced up as well. They're desperately trying to finish him up, but GH is keeping him alive. Now he can turn, gets off the drain onto Sunder. No, Fear. It doesn't go off in time. Fear again brought down another drain. This time it's going to be Chen who falls. A toss back on his mail. And Liquid, they've taken enough of Evil Geniuses down. They're going to go for the tier 3. Misery doesn't even know what to say at this point in time. What a toss into the drain as well. Arteezy is left alone against the tide of Team Liquid.
Everyone is still pretty much at full HP despite all of that. Mind Control tosses Miracle up in the air.
Every single time, there's like no damage being done. When the Storm Spirit jumps in, it's just so quickly. Oh, trying to grab Miracle there, stop at that TP. but they still can't even really go for this fight despite knowing that Liquid are down in numbers. They're going to be able to grab Matamba Man here. GH providing the heals, turn around, but they already got the repel onto Arteezy. He's low on mana though, so he's not going to be able to output a whole lot of damage, and that paralyzing cast being so disruptive causes a lot of issues for EG, so they're not able to pursue.
Yeah, and even with no Timbersaw there, Liquid, they simply just don't care. At this point, EG have represented, they just simply don't have the damage or the team fight.
Oh boy, Miracle just picked up a Talisman of Evasion, and he just picked up the level 15 extra 5 reactive armor stacks.
TZ doing another zip. Trying to do whatever he can to slow down this push, but once they seem to get on top of that tower, it doesn't seem to matter, and that's why they're going to go for the smoke. Their last desperation play.
Radiant's top tower is under
As
attack.
Liquid go for their own smoke.
Wrapping around on the high ground here. Here comes the jump, going from Matamba Man. GH has tucked his way into the trees. Is going to be able to keep Matamba Man alive. They got the paralyzing cast on Arteezy. They're blowing up a lot of these heroes. Samael, he's going to end up going down here. A Miracle just slices him down. Ultra kill for Miracle, and Evil Geniuses call it.
22 minutes into the game. I mean, Liquid have a whopping 25 kills, more than one a minute. Absolutely dominant.
We hyped up this series saying